welcome to Polymer Clay TV. I'm Elisa, and today we are going to do a really cool veneer. And it's a grungy one, but yet it has shimmer to it. So we're going to do it in steps because you have to let it dry. But we're going to start by doing the base layer of grunging. And these are just the base for some polymer clay trading coins. And if you aren't familiar with those, go over to polymerclaytradingcoins.com and you can read all about what they are. It's a fun thing that we're swapping and having a lot of fun with. So anyways, I'm working with the latte souffle clay today, and I have the grunge color fuses, and there's 3 different colors in the grunge. There's a greeny color, a color that has some gold speckles and black, and then another one that's like a mixed brown. And so what I want to do is I just want to add a little bit. When I say you know, don't go overboard with this, don't go overboard with this, because it will impede the crackle technique. So what you're doing is looking to get a light dusting, nothing heavy that's going to cause you any problems in the crackle stage. So we're just going to dust it across and do it where you think that it's going to be pleasing to your eye. You know, you can be heavier in areas if you'd like, because you will get a totally different look, you know, depending on what you do. So that's the greenish color, and then this one here is bigger flakes. And you can exploit that too, because it really makes a unique look if you plant it where you want it. And I also made a piece where I had it tilted, and when I had it tilted, like the gold, ooh, that squeak was horrible. I had the gold kind of puddled and made a really cool look. So just some food for thought. Once I have all this on here, and this is plenty, I'm going to use my rod and I'm going to roll it into the clay. And you're not looking to exert tons and tons of pressure. You're just trying to bond it with the clay, you know. And just roll over it until you have that, you know, pretty well done. And so the next step here is we're going to use Distressed Crackle paint in clear rock candy. Okay, now this stuff is my favorite crackle paint. It comes clear, but think about this. You have other options. You can add color to it. And they used to sell it in colors. And, you know, it just takes a little acrylic paint or a little alcohol ink. So be thinking about all the interesting things you can do with that. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to put a thick layer. Not like gobs, huge gobs, but a nice heavy layer of the Distressed Crackle paint. And I want to cover my piece entirely. You can work on some deli paper or whatever you want. I don't really care because this tile I can clean up super easy if it puddles. So you're just covering the entire area until it's nicely saturated. And so once you have your whole area, you know, with a nice layer on it, you have to let it dry. There's no way around it. You got to wait till it completely dries. And when it starts to dry, you will know it because it's going to start to form these little crackles. And then as it dries even more, the crackles will get bigger too. You know, the thicker your initial layer like this here is, the bigger crackles you tend to get. So that's why I want you to put a nice layer without going overboard. You don't want big old puddles, but you do want to make sure that you got a nice thick layer, probably about like that. So go ahead and let this dry. I'm going to let this dry, and I'll be back and you'll see all the crackles, and then we'll move on to the next step. So now the crackle medium has dried, and this is a tip that I like to do because it really helps to make sure that the crackle medium stays on the clay, because otherwise it tends to want to flake off. So I take my rod and I roll over my clay, and this helps to push that crackle medium. And you don't want to do this too hard. You're just doing a gentle rollover. That helps to push it back into the clay, and so now it's pretty much in there. So the next step, and this is where the magic happens, I use our Shimmer Shifts, which, if you haven't seen them, they're unbelievably gorgeous. They shift in the sun or the light, and they really make a beautiful look. So you can come back here and you can paint it in with a brush into all the little crevices. You can do it in parts, which is what I did. I didn't do it all over, but you can already see where I'm going with this and how beautiful it's going to be. You can mix and match colors and get a really, different look. You can use your finger, kind of rub it into areas. It does fly away, I'll warn you on that one. So, whatever way you can do it where you're not getting so much flyaway is best. And you just proceed to put it where you want it. And that's all there is to that step right there. So, like I said, you can add other colors, whatever you want to do. That's completely up to you. And the thing about this is it does change when you bake it. It doesn't look exactly the same. So just know that, and I think it looks cooler. Let me just grab my Polymer trading coin, which is right here. This is my 2.5-inch cutter. And now I don't like to wait too long to do this. Like, you don't want to leave this sitting on your work surface for a week, because what happens is the distress crackle paint starts to dry out your clay. So if you leave it sit, when you go to cut it, it's hard sometimes to get it through that, whatever the medium is. So I'm trying to get a really nice crackle here, a really nice cut here, but you don't always, depends on how tricky it is. I don't know if you can see that here. See, it tries to pull up on you. So you wanna do it nice and easy, and if you have to cut off any extra after the fact, whatever, then just you can use an X-Acto knife to clean up your edges, because you won't always get the crackle medium to cut exactly the way you want. It does like to pull up on itself. It's, and that's what I'm talking about. The drier it gets, the more flaky it wants to get. So your best bet is to make your piece, do what you got to do, and bake it. Don't let it sit around for a week, a month, or whatever, because, like I said, you're going to get a lot of drying out that way. So, okay, so I'm not going to clean up the whole thing for you. You get the gist. And let me just move all this out of the way. Alrighty. So, next step. After you've done that, you want to come back with some pan pastels. That's what I used, and it just works really, really well. Once again, you can use a paintbrush, you can use your fingers, and I just kind of rub it randomly in the places where I think it's going to look nice. And, I'm using this darker magenta. It's called Magenta Extra Dark, because it really shows up nicely in the cracks. But I'm not trying to completely cover up all that shimmer shifts either, so you want to kind of just use discretion with that, and just go where you think it'll look nice. And because this is actually a faux Raku look. If you're familiar with faux, if you're familiar with Raku, you can see that this has a similar look. And I'm using the turquoise color and kind of just coming back in. And really, that's all there is to it. And you can get such a gorgeous look. And when it's not a whole lot of effort, it looks different in the light, and it'll look even more different when it's baked too. You'll see that too. So from here, you can just go on and elaborate, and decorate it any way you want. I have a little flower which will look really cute in the center, and this is the same thing. This was done with the Crackle. However, I did something extra fun. I took my Crackle medium and I mixed in some of this color shift paint. Not a lot, just a little bit. Mixed it in for the color. Painted it over purple clay, which is, let's see, this souffle. I can't even tell what the color is, but this is the color here. Purple, and look at how gorgeous that is. And all I have to do is just add this onto my coin, and I got a really cool coin without that much, work. This was just actually backed. I had did it on translucent as well. Look at how pretty that is on translucent. So I did the same thing. I used that color shift paint, mixed it in with the Crackle medium, and painted on translucent. So depending on what color clay you paint it on, you get a totally different look. And then I just backed it with a silk screen there. And here you go. Super, super cute. Actually, I have it in a bigger design here. Let's see. Because I was actually thinking I might do some earrings, although I don't know if I like it that big because it covers up too much of the crackle. So I think I'll go with this guy here and leave it like that. And then you can elaborate any way you want. I'm going to make another one, and I'll share that with you as well. But just have fun with it. The technique is very simple, but yet very pleasing to the eye, and lots of possibilities. And switch up your color shifts. You'll get a different look. Look at this one. Just beautiful colors. I think there's 6 in a set. Here's another one. I mean, it's gorgeous. I mean, the sky's the limit with this technique because, you can really change it up with the colors of everything. You can change it up with the colors of the clay. You can change it up with adding color to the distressed crackle medium. You can change up the shimmer shifts. You can change up the colors of the pan pastels, and each time get a completely unique and different look. So I think that's it for today. Have fun with it, and come on over to Polymer Clay Tribe and share what you make. I'd love to see it, and I will see you next time. Thanks so much for joining me.